Hi everyone, let's talk about Capital Lux 2 Generations, which again is on Kickstarter right now. Link to the campaign page in the description, and I was paid to make the overview element of the video, so bear that in mind. So Capital Lux, I had not played Capital Lux 1. It's one that I just missed out on. It just passed me by, unfortunately. It looked lovely. It had, lovely art from Kwanchai Moria. It was just quite beautiful, kind of fantastical, strange, and very, very varied art. Thinking of a very recent example, the game. It's only a little card game, but really, really took the game to a next level with its beautiful artwork. Anyway, shouldn't just bang on about the art the whole time. So my first introduction to Capital Lux is in this kind of hurried playthrough to be in time for the Kickstarter, and I love it. This is such a beautiful system, just stripping away, the extra tiles and stuff, just the game itself, that you have these cards that you've drafted, you've got 6 cards each, and you either need to play a card to your home base in the hopes that it's going to be worth points, or you play it to the capital in order to increase the maximum, because at the end of each round, after we've played all of our cards, for each of the 4 colours in your home base, you look at that corresponding colour in the capital. If you have a higher total of cards than there is in the capital, you lose all of those cards. And as long as you're under it, you can compete to have the most of that particular colour. And if you have the most, you get a bonus card, or you get some points anyway. And so that is a great system, because there's a great push and pull of that you want all of the points to yourself, but you are forced to play things into the middle. But there comes the unknown of, what are other people going for? Am I just helping them out? If I wait, are they going to play cards to the middle because they're invested in that colour as well? There is this whole, just aside from the actual mechanisms of the game itself, there is this whole, this metagame played with everyone. Is that the right use of metagame? That's, everybody is kind of trying to outthink each other, and we've only played it 2 players, of course, so I imagine there would be more of that in a game with more players. But yeah, you're kind of thinking that, oh well, I've got a lot invested in green here. I've put out more than the maximum, and I've got a lot of green left in my hand, so I want more to go out. But I can look over there and see that Rachel's got a couple of greens out there. She's close to the max. I wonder if she's going to put another one out, or maybe she's already gone over the max, so she must have a card in her hand that she's waiting to put into the capital. Can I wait to put those out there? And the extra rule on top of that depending on which modules you're using, you might end up drawing more cards. And so if you have all of these cards left over, as soon as someone has finished playing them, so Rach might be doing that and might wait until their very, very last card to put that out there, because any cards you've got left over after that all go out at the same time. And so these powers that let you manipulate cards or draw extra ones might end up turning against you, because you have to put a load of cards out. They all go out to your home base, so you can't increase the maximum with them anymore. They all just go straight out there. It's got a benefit of nobody knew what you had in your hand, so you can use it to your advantage and keep some secrets and let them do your work for you in the capital. But it can really turn out badly for you, in that the maximum hasn't gone up the way you wanted it, and suddenly you've just dumped a load of cards out, gone over a load of maximums, and they all get discarded from your home base. So I love those things all working together. And then as it goes round by round, the fact that you keep all of it out and it builds on it. So not only the cards that are in the capital, the maximums get increased, even though we're removing some as bonus cards. The cards in your home base increase as well. So you are going to have to, luck of the draw is part of it, even though we drafted some of these cards. The abilities are part of it as well, but you have to keep a real eye as the game goes on. You have to keep a real eye on these maximums, because the rule is the same. If you go over it at the end of round 2, then you're going to lose all of those red cards or yellow cards or whatever district that it is. And heartbreakingly, you might do that at the end of round 3 because you didn't plan properly, or maybe a power lets somebody take a card away or put a modifier on that thing, and so it's not the number that you thought it was. Or, like me, quite often, you haven't counted quite right, and so you have to, at the very last moment of the game, maybe the colour you had the most points in, suddenly you have to lose every card in there because something hasn't gone quite right for you. Yeah, I think it's got beautiful escalation throughout. I will say that it's a game that's based on the power tiles that have been picked. Certainly, some mess around with things even more. You know, the putting modifiers that can make a pile -4, and nobody knows what that is until it's all flipped over at the very end. Although they know tiles are there, they know the potential for that pile to change, or that you're allowed to take cards away from other piles or swap them to other piles. You know, there is an element where you can play with that. You've got the choice, haven't you? You've got 4 of each color, so you can pick up combinations that are just favorites and suit your playstyle, as well as, you know, introducing more or less conflict into the game. But there is always an element of, you know, what's good for you might completely unwittingly ruin the round for somebody else. And I think that is another thing that it comes keen a bit more in a 2-player game. That's, you know, it's whether you've done it intentionally or not, and in our case it's not intentional because it's not our playstyle. You can really mess someone's game up with a move, and it's in a 3 or 4 player game that would probably have affected a couple of people to differing degrees. I think, yeah, you maybe feel it a bit more in a 2-player game, but you can play with you've certainly got options to have things that just give you uses to spend gold tokens, or give you extra special decks to draw from, especially like the duelist deck, where each card has the same number but it's got 2 different colors on it, and the color is different depending on whether you're going to play it into the capital or your home base. And the opportunity to, especially if you're a fan and you've got no problem with any of these modules, you've got, 200 combinations of these things, 256, I think, combinations of all of these different power tiles. And yes, some aren't going to change it drastically. Some are just as simple as, you play a card to the yellow, you get an extra turn, which can lead to a load of opportunities depending on when that happens in particular. But yeah, the core game, I think, is a really, really great thinky filler, but still, you know, has to be really fast-paced and involves, you know, everything that everybody else is doing can directly affect you, even though they're not messing with anything that's in your home base. What is happening in that capital is vital to you all the time, so you're engaged with it a lot. But the kind of the variability of those powers, and thinking about when you're going to play these things to try and hide what you're doing from the other players. Or if I do this power and then this power and then this power, that's going to get me the best effect. But what if the card isn't there anymore? I want to take the lowest card from here. I want to double this card. What if that doubling token isn't there anymore because somebody's used it? You know, just in our limit, we've only played it a few times and played with a few different combinations of the power tiles, especially when you start breaking away from those original sets and just maybe shuffling them up and throwing them in the air and picking from them. Yeah, it's going to lead to wildly different times. But what does it matter what I think? Nothing, right? Or everything. Depends who you are. The main thing, though, is the thing that I meant to say before I say words that distract myself. The playthrough is there. And so the overview, not a playthrough, the overview is there, and hopefully that will give you an idea of whether or not you particularly would be interested in it. I'm going to go now and film some other things. I should maybe stop because it appears my ability to speak is deteriorating. I hope you enjoyed this and that it was some way informative. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye, everyone.